Mongoose J here with the Mongoose Ledge. Here on the scale, I'm going to do a quick details video. I don't know really a better way to put that, but I'm going to go over the stock details. Now, as you can see, that is 38.45 pounds. So 38.5 pounds, of course, minus the ounce that it might be for a shifting trigger. Because, of course, if you watch my previous videos, you know that I'm missing the upshift trigger off of the Falcon shifter. But I'm doing this now, and I'm going to do one exactly like this for the slalom after I get the ledge done, because I want to go over all the stock details before I move on to what upgrades I'm going to do. Now, the slalom is going to stay fairly stock for a while as I test it out, and I'll do individual reviews on the parts there, much like I will do on the ledge, going over my thoughts and opinions on the individual components. If you look back at my very old videos from 8, 9, 10 years ago, I did that. When I got a bike, I detailed the bike, my overall thoughts and opinions on it, as well as individual thoughts, little snippets on each component, when I thought the component was worth an individual video. I will be doing one on the Falcon shifter and derailleur before I replace it. But this is the overview of details. We're going to say 38.45 pounds for a stock Mongoose Ledge X2. Now, also want to go over these information. This ledge is not new. This information has been out for a while, but I'm still going to do it anyways, because hey, I haven't done it yet. So things that I'm going to do would be the weight here. While I still have it up in, the scale can hold it. It's a 50 kilogram scale, so it can hold, well over 100 pounds. So it'll stay there for now. But for instance, this is a 17-inch frame going from center of the crank axle to the top of the seat tube. And it has, going from the axle, you can extrapolate this over into metric for those who prefer metric measurements. But it's a 17 3/4 inch chainstay length from BB to axle. So decently long chainstays. The reach. Now this is a measurement that I personally do because I think it matters. It's a 27.5 inch from top what would be the top of the seat post, 27.5 inch to the grips. That's actually how far do you have to reach forward. Now, also, the stock head tube length is 4 3/8 inch long. Comes into play when you've got a need to upgrade the fork, which I will be doing. And it is, of course, a tapered head tube, so you will need to upgrade the headset, because the stock headset and fork is set up for a straight steer tube, because the stock fork, of course, is straight. And so the headset is downsizing to meet that. So that is one thing I will be upgrading. Weight will be something I'm going to try to shed on this bike. So I'm going to be upgrading the pedals, because these weren't that good, the fork, headset, the rear shock, and just for those who want to know, it is a 6.5 inch eye to eye, and the stroke would be 1.5. So that is roughly your typical 165 by 38. Just rough measurement. You should be able to find that. I actually found one fairly easily. I found a Maroka basic air shock, very basic, because I do have a goal with my upgrades. My upgrades are not just going to be, throw tons of parts at this and make it the best bike in the world when it was a budget bike to start with. My goal with this bike going forward, and I will get the stand over here in just a second as I take it off the scale. The goal will be, what can I do with this bike without exceeding the regular retail price of a slalom? Because if you can get an Ozark Trail slalom for $500, I paid $301 for this. what can I do with that extra $199? And I know that was on sale as well. The slalom was, but I'm gonna go with it because it's my video series. So let's pull this off and set it down. Okay, with it back up on the stand, wanted to go over the standover was just above 27 and 3/4 inch with the tires at 31 psi in the rear and 28 psi in the front. Not that it matters, I wasn't actually on the bike, so you measure that unweighted by rider, but it was just a tiny bit over 27 and 3/4, so you might say 27 and 13/16. But that is what I measured here at the lowest point of the top tube. And again, to me, reach, the head angle, that I didn't set up my plumb bob, so I did not get that, but it's roughly about like a 66 to 67 degree based off of just using a gauge. That's not the most accurate, but roughly about 66 to 67 degrees based off of a simple gauge. But the reach at 27.5, it all feels comfortable. And I'm 5'10", so it's just all comfortable and fits me well. It's your pretty typical medium, a little large than some brands mediums, but a little bit right what I would call run-of-the-mill medium size. So now, going forward, okay, so what do I want to do with the bike? And what will you see going forward? Well, the bike at $301, again, like my whole goal is that I want to get this bike as good as it can be without greatly exceeding or maybe even staying under the price of what the slalom would retail for. And I am going to go by the retail price to give me some wiggle room. Again, it's my video series. I'm going to do it. But so my goal will be to shed some weight, improve the efficiency of the bike, and just get the overall performance as good as can be without exceeding it still being a very budget-minded bike. Because, of course, there's videos out there, the Ledge has been out for 2-3 years. There's videos out there where people have taken the Ledge frames, both the X2 or the X1, the 27.5 inch version, and they've taken them, built them up like they're basically like my Valiant that you see back there, or the Canaan I'm building, or the Zen custom frame that I've got that I've never shown. It's like, I don't want to do that. That's not the point of this bike. In my eyes, this will be a budget kind of do-it-all bike, not a hardcore, hit major drops bike, but just a do-it-all trail bike in 29 inch and keeping a very budget-conscious mindset. So what am I going to do? Well, gotta remember, I'm trying to shoot for the $500 mark. I have $200 of upgrade room to work with. That's what I'm gonna call it, upgrade room, air quotes. Now, the fork is one thing for sure. Now, I am going to be doing a Bucklos fork. That's the same model that I actually used. You can actually see the nice electric blue Hyper Explorer back there. And I've been decently impressed by that fork. It is what it is. It's a budget-minded basic air fork. But this is like the current model version of it with a tapered head tube. And I was able to get it for under $100. I actually paid I think $92 for this, because I bought this actually direct from Bucklos and they had a coupon and a sale going on. So I was able to get this very inexpensively, and it is standard quick release because the wheel set on the Ledge is actually decent. I'm not going to call it great, but it's decent. And I'm going to keep running it because, again, budget minded. So in doing that, I had to replace that headset. Of course, it's stock headset for now because I wanted to get the weight and do this video. But this is going to be like my details and upgrade ideas. But this is important because this will shed some weight. And for me, I know that there's some horror stories online, but for me, I rode that Hyper Explorer a lot. The fork, it just needs cleaned and serviced. And that's literally just, take it apart, clean it all up, make sure you're not getting it contaminated because the seals and bushings are a little bit of a question mark. But it holds air, the rebound works, everything works fine for a typical trail bike, and that has seen the same trail system that this bike has seen. a mixture of blue, primarily blue trails with some green and black mixed in. And it's served me well. So same basic model going on the Ledge. That is between the fork and the headset. That's going to be basically half of my upgrade budget. So the other, and I'll just say, I'm not going to be able to keep it at the exact price without eliminating something or the other. Because I am going to be putting on a Shimano Q's group set and replacing the pedals. I've got some composite pedals coming. They're some pretty neat ones. I'm not going to give it away just yet, but when they get here, I will be definitely showing this once I get all the upgrades on. But I also was going to put an air shock on. Now, if I put the air shock on and include it, I got a Shimano Q's group set that I actually only paid $67 for. So, fork and headset was about $100 total. That group set's $67. That would only leave me $33. Which the shock I found was $52. So that will push me a little above and beyond. But I'm going to give myself the wiggle room because I said the slalom, I wouldn't recommend riding that thing with the pedals that are on it whatsoever. They're terrible. Absolutely a slip hazard. And for me, the seat, I can't really ride the slalom going forward with the seat that it has on it. It is that uncomfortable for me. That's personal preference, but I can't ride it. So I'm going to take the difference of the pedals and seat cost, which I'm going to put a WTB Pure V on it, that costs about $40. The pedals cost $15. So $5.55. And if I say that and stick with that, then I can put on the air shock and the pedal upgrade here. And then we'll see where we're at. Then I'll ride them both with, because this seat's actually quite nice. I actually rate that as pretty good. It's better than most stock saddles. So we'll see where it goes from there. That'll be fork, headset, shock, drivetrain, not the cranks. The cranks let's stay on there for now. Because I will probably buy a Shimano Q's crank set for both bikes. We're gonna see, maybe. I'm probably putting a Q's crank set on the slalom. I might also put one on here, or I might go to try some off-brand, like say a Bucklos crank. We'll see. But I probably am going to put the Shimano Q's crank set on the slalom going forward because I've been very, very impressed by the Shimano Q's. It's not the lightest, it's not the quickest, most smoothest shifting, but it's reliable. And I've got 2 bikes already going forward with it, and I'll be doing a third with Shimano Q's. So I'm pretty happy with it. If that tells you anything, I'm a SRAM XO guy. That's what I run on pretty much all of my bikes. SRAM, I have multiple bikes with SRAM XO, so it's on my wife's bike. When you see the red, that's a Santa Cruz Juliana back there. And then the only one that you see here, the Hyper got a SRAM X7 set. So, like, I'm a SRAM guy. But Shimano Q's is definitely good enough. Not going to get off on a Shimano Q's tangent too much more, but that's the plan. Fork, headset, shock, drivetrain, and including the pedals. And we'll see. We'll leave the stock crank on for now, but we'll see if that pulls the difference in a little bit for the slalom. Because right now the Ledge is trailing way behind. But that's for another video another time. Hope you enjoyed me just ranting and rambling about bikes featuring the Mongoose Ledge X2. Just kind of a solid budget bike for what it was. And it's just overshadowed now. We're going to make it better. But again, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.